Hello darlings, it's rain all day today and I don't mind that in the least. Had an interesting thing this morning. I was busily minding my own business in the kitchen, feeling, oh look at that. Oh dear. Oh! Obviously a bit windy. Oh, that needs to be washed again. I was busily minding my own business and there's a good old knocking at the door, and it's a poor damp chap saying, look, you don't know me, but I live in the village and I've got a doctor's appointment and it's quite important, and bloody Hullies have cancelled the bus at the last minute. I don't suppose there's any chance that you could take me, is there? And of course I did, and I just love the idea that I've got a local reputation as being, not only the kind of weirdo who would just drop everything to take a total stranger on a little road trip, but also would be safe enough to trust to do that. So, and he was a lovely chap. So that was that. And I'm just, I'm just uploading yesterday's daily diary and deciding what to have for lunch. And I think, given the weather, I think it's going to be sausage and mash with some onion gravy. I mean, you can't beat that for comfort food on a damp day, can you? Oh, and I've done my normal thing. It starts to rain, I get the urge to wash a car. I think it's laziness, really, because it means I don't have to rinse it. So, noisy boys. So Barney has had a and I think that's the sign that I need to check if it's on the one. So Barney's had a good old wash with some what do you call it? Waxy, what do you call it? Well, Autoglim anyway, the shampoo and wax thing, and I even cleaned the wheels. I was going to say something else to you and I've completely forgotten what it was. No, it has completely gone out of my mind. Oh, it's terrible to get old and forgetful. I've remembered what I was going to tell you. The first of the new cars has been delivered to the Yard of Dreams, so I'm just getting underneath this umbrella here. Oh God, that went right down my neck. Do check out the Project Nigel channel to see what that is. Little bit of a change in the garden, in the yard, my darlings. That obviously used to be next door to Bob, the inexpertly constructed Palace of Motory Delight, but it's going to live here because I'm planning, when I can afford it, to get a little plastic storage box to go there, and that will accommodate my power washer, which is getting wet there, and this shirt needs to go in the laundry. I forgot about that. That's the shirt away. Yeah, I've found one in Argos that looks just the right size in a dark grey, so it'll kind of match Bob. I need to get rid of this. I've got these metal things that have been here for 8 years. I inherited them when I moved here. And they're just too big to go in the bloody bin and too stout to be bent in half. And I'm too lazy to go to the tip. And I'm too socially, morally decent to just put them in the car and dump them somewhere. Actually, I wonder if I could put them in the car and dump them in the big bin at work, couldn't I? Yeah, I could do that. So yeah, there'll be a thing going there, and that will take the power washer and the seat cushions and well, anything else I want to shove in there, basically. So that'll be a blessing. Just need to find 35 quid. And I think that looks all right there.
Been a good Rover. Anyway, I didn't know which of these two 600s
Here we go again. It's another week of living the dream at the world's favourite Nepalese restaurant. Oh, no dear.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only I'm going to see.
Twerk, where Yorkshire people go between 9 and 5. When you really properly think about it, then I think you'd have to say that 2 is probably the perfect number of buttocks to have. If it wasn't for your buttocks, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or infirmary, for you would have a dose of the flu or even pleurisy if you didn't have a nice pair of buttocks. Oh, poor young Sabana tonight. Restaurant was busy. There were, for quite a section of the night, restaurant was actually full. And Sabana was front of house all on his own, bless him. He coped really well and he didn't complain. He's a cracking lad, real asset to the restaurant. But it's not just about that, it's, you know, if there's not enough staff, the service is not as quick as it ought to be. Apparently the issue is that the Nepali guys, they're just, for the quiet nights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the quieter nights. If we have the Nepali guys come in, then they're coming in for the whole thing. They get a lift, so they're in from 3 o'clock until you know, like 11 o'clock. And that means 2 things. One, it means they get paid for that slab of time. And the other is that they're not needed for most of that time. Like tonight, what we needed was somebody front of house working sort of 6:30, 9:30, 3 hours, something like that. So tomorrow I'm going to stick an advert in for a front of house type person. God, I'm not sure what the law is now. We're all boys in the restaurant at the moment, and you're better off with girls, because if you've got girls in the restaurant and they ask the men if they'd like another drink, they'll say yes. Women sell more drinks, and you know, a pretty face doesn't hurt, and we are all blokes. So I want I would like a nice young lady front of house, but of course you can't put that in a bloody advert, can you? Equal opportunities and all that. Same as I want somebody attractive front of house, and you can't put that either. And you can't tell somebody that I'm sorry, you're not suitable for the position because you're a howling munter. Of course, back in the day at the garage, I ran a telesales team at night. They would be in from 6 till 10, and of course they were all females. And I remember a pal of mine meeting me at the pitch one night. We were going out as soon as I closed, and he was looking around and he said, how come they're all stunners? I said, because they cost the same as the ugly ones. Bloody petrol's gone up a penny at St. Bob's since Sunday, which is concerning. It's back over £1.50 now. I mean, bless him, thank goodness Barney here seems to be jolly good on fuel. Oh, I didn't tell you about that, did I? I've resurrected an old app I bought. It's called Road Trip HD. And you plumb into it your petrol doings when you fill up, and it calculates all sorts of things for you and puts them on graphs and whatnot. I stopped doing it because I never seem to be filling up for one reason or another. But I did actually fill up because of the road trip on Monday, so I thought I'd resurrect it. So it'll be interesting to see what Barney is doing to the gallon, and I'll try and, as and when I can afford it, I'll try and do it with all the others too. It'll be interesting to keep comparisons. But the thing is, I don't know why petrol is going up. I mean, I do. It'll be because the price of crude is going up. But I don't know why the price of crude is going up. The problem is that the I've lost the word. The novelty of this onboard gramophone giving me access to the music on my portable electric telephone means that I've been listening to music non-stop instead of listening to Radio 4 and news all night as I normally would. So I'm incredibly out of the loop with the world. I've got no idea what's going on, and that's very unlike me. I'm a very political animal, and I'm normally all over every aspect of current affairs, apart from, you know, things that don't matter, like entertainment, television and football. Oh, cheeky. Oh well. White van man. So I really need to be disciplined and start turning the news on. I did see a news flash up earlier that they're talking about impeaching Biden, but I only saw the flash. I've not looked at the story, so I don't know what they'd be impeaching him for. Must catch up with that. I must catch up with everything, really. I'm afraid that today's news from our friend Joe, the Western New York Bigfoot investigator chap, who's just a nice chap. The news is just even more devastating today. Obviously, out of nowhere, out of the blue, he got a very unpleasant diagnosis and a prognosis of a couple of months, basically. And today it looks like even that small crumb of comfort is being cruelly snatched away from him. And those 2 months apparently might not be a week, and that is just impossible for me to even begin to comprehend how he would process that. I mean, a couple of months is, you know, okay, it's nothing really, but in your mind a couple of months is future. I mean, it's in the future. If something's happening in a couple of months, whether it's a dentist appointment or, you know, anything of that nature, it's in the future. It's just about far enough away that it's not going to be totally in the forefront of your mind. Whereas a week or less, I mean, that's terrifying. That's now, isn't it? I mean, that's really panicking, trying to get all of your affairs in order whilst you're still sufficiently compos mentis to do that. And then it's almost like counting things, counting the days, counting the meals. Will this be the last one? Oh God, it just doesn't bear thinking about. And a while ago, how long is it now? Gosh, what is it, 5 years, I suppose now, something like that. One of our gangs, the eBay power seller business gang, one of our friends had a similar diagnosis, and it was the first time. Now, he was a Facebooker. You know, he lived online, whether that was not just in business, e-commerce, but personally as well. And he was part of our very close online community. And the fact that he was dying didn't change that. And he died he died in slow motion on Facebook, and we were all with him. And we all found it incredibly difficult to deal with. I remember him posting that he'd been for a walk, and it was autumn, and he was watching the trees lose their leaves, and he thought, I won't be here to watch those leaves come back next spring. This is it. And shit like that really got into your mind. And of course, you feel so selfish, because he's the guy having to face it, having to face mortality and end of things. And here's us saying it's difficult for us to deal with. Because of course, you know, you want to be there for him, you want to be strong for him. And we're doing it virtually. It's not even as if we're in the same house or anything like that. We actually formed a Facebook group, a very secret Facebook group, so that we could support each other to support him, if that makes any sense. But we found it incredibly difficult, and the funeral was, God, it was actually, this is awful, but it was enjoyable. It was actually enjoyable, and for quite a lot of us, it was the first, and for some of us, only time that we've actually met in real life the people that were our daily family online. Others, you know, met since, like Big Tall Steve, Big Steve, who was in my Jag vid, in the Fiat 500 vid. He was one of them. But obviously I see him now, he lives relatively closely. And it's kind of happening again with Joseph. I mean, okay, with Joseph, I can't pretend that we were in any way close, even virtually. But for that time, he was part of my world, literally. And I'm of an age now where things like that matter more than they did when they were younger. And I can't lie, it's getting to me. I'm struggling a bit with it, which seems incredibly selfish to say. Oh dear, but there we are. Alright darlings, I am home, so I'm going to say good night. Save me wittering on at you after the live stream, after a glass or two of wine. So thank you for your company, thank you for watching today. It's not been a bad day, has it? Quite relaxing. Again, as things happen these days, I'm even more tired tonight than I was last night. Struggling to keep my eyes open at the restaurant, so. Oh, what's that noise? Can you hear it? Definitely a bit of a knock. Probably just the standard K-Series one. They all have their little knock. Alright darlings, sleep tight, have a safe and peaceful night, take great care of yourselves, have a good day tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, much love.